So, it's 1896, you're about 30 years old, an associate professor of law at Moscow University. Sounds pretty stable, yes? That is, until you encounter painting by Claude Monet and Richard Wagner's opera Lohengrin. These move you to change everything, and by the end of the year, you're in Munich studying painting, of course. So goes the condensed story of Wassily Kandinsky's embarkation on one of the 20th century's most influential art careers. The Milwaukee Art Museum is host to a major retrospective exhibition. I'm Kat Murrell, here with author and recent president for the International Association for Aesthetics, Curtis Carter. Let's go look at this. Kandinsky Retrospective exhibition has just recently opened at the Milwaukee Art Museum. And Curtis, what are your impressions of it? Things that inspire you or that you find most effective about the exhibition?
Yeah. Well, I find it very exciting. It's really, truly a great exhibition, and I think the museum is to be applauded for working with the Pompidou Center in bringing this here.
It's fascinating in the way that it becomes a sort of narrative that one walks through about Kandinsky's aesthetic life and the development of his styles.
I think his role in bringing abstraction into art is really the beginning point and so very, very important. I know that sometimes people try to make comments on the literal representational elements, but I really think that they're only there as part of his subject of abstraction. I've recently been working on some theories of art from this period and the shift from representation to abstraction in art. And the creative, figurative ways in which he did it is really a marking point also in theories about art.
He was also a very prolific writer. I have my big book of Kandinsky. And he writes, in part, in one section, "Every art has its own language, i.e., those means which it alone possesses. For this reason, the means belonging to the different arts are externally quite different. Sound, color, words, a certain complex of vibrations, the goal of a work of art, the progressive refinement of the soul by means of the accumulation of different complexes, the aim of art. Art is, for this reason, indispensable and purposeful. There are people who are made to cry when they hear cheerful music, and vice versa. For this reason, the individual effects of a work of art become more or less strongly colored in the case of different receiving subjects. There is no man who cannot receive art. Every work of art and every one of the individual means belonging to that work produces in every man, without exception, a vibration that is at the bottom identical to that of the artist." One of the things that strikes me about that passage and that idea is the way that abstract art can be perceived and the way that art in general can be perceived. And I think for viewers who are unfamiliar with abstract art, it may feel a little intimidating in places coming into an exhibition like this because, you know, we're very accustomed to pictures and objects and what is it and what does it mean. What is your advice for viewers?
The point that you make is a very good one. In fact, until Kandinsky's time, art was really a prisoner of nature and external world. But the artists like Kandinsky, and this was reflected in the philosophers of the time too, decided to focus on the fact that art comes from the inner life. It is challenging, even today, for some visitors to appreciate abstract art. And the reason is that they are prisoners of the tradition of representation. My advice would be open up. Let your eyes and your mind be freed of these earlier requirements of art and just explore and enjoy the colors, the lines, the play, the humor, the wit, and the freedom that the artist manifests.
And those are just some of the reasons and the aspects that make this such a wonderful retrospective exhibition at the Milwaukee Art Museum. And Curtis, thank you so much.
Well,
it's been a pleasure talking with you.
My pleasure.
And thanks for being here with us also. We'll see you again next week when we'll look at something else.